Hello, fourth graders. In our last video, we talked about using a formula to be able to find the measurement, the shortest distance around the edge of a figure, to find the measurement of the perimeter of a figure. Today, we're going to actually solve some problems where we are given the perimeter, but instead we have to find the missing measurement or the missing side or length. Now, before I continue on, I want to make sure that you grab paper, pencil, or your dry erase board and marker so that you can solve these problems right along with me. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So as a quick review, when we talk about perimeter, what we are looking at is the sum of all sides, okay? So the perimeter equals P equals sum of all sides, P for perimeter. All right, and depending upon the number of sides that you have on a figure, well, that's going to determine how many numbers you're going to add together to find the perimeter. Okay, so take a look. I have a triangle on the left side. So a triangle I know has 3 sides to it. So if I was to write a formula to solve this, if I had to find the perimeter, I would say, well, perimeter equals, okay, there's one side. Here's another side, and then one more. So I would have 3 different values that I have to add together. Okay, but let's look a little more closely at the actual problem that we are given. So check this out. I have 2 values that are labeled on this triangle already. Okay, so my vertical side is 5 meters. Okay, I have a horizontal side down at the bottom that is 10 meters. And then lastly, I have an X. I have a missing value here, a missing measurement. You can imagine that this is a question mark. And very often you will see a question mark on a missing side measurement like that. But you should also notice that you are given the actual perimeter, the shortest distance measurement around that figure. So we know 3 out of 4 of the values that are going to go into this particular formula. Okay, remember, we now want to find not the perimeter, we're already given that, but we're going to find the measurement of the missing side. So how are we going to do that? Well, let's go ahead and plug in some of these values, okay? Things that we know. We're going to use what we know to find what we don't know. So I do know that one of my sides is 5 meters. I know that another side is 10 meters. Oops, 10 meters. And then my last side, my third side, okay, that is my missing measurement. And instead of putting the question mark, I'm going to go ahead and use that variable X because that's what they used in the problem to label the problem. But I also know one more value that I'm going to put in here. I actually know what the perimeter is. So I'm going to get rid of that P for perimeter. And I'm going to type in what I know, which is that the perimeter actually is 26 meters. So check this out. Now I have an addition number sentence. 26 meters equals 5 meters plus 10 meters plus X. Okay, I'm going to simplify this a little bit. I'm going to combine the 2 add-ins that I already know. So now I'm going to say 26 meters equals, okay, 5 plus 10. 5 plus 10 is 15, you got it, 15 meters plus, okay, X, that missing value. 26 equals 15 plus X. How do we find X? Well, if you use your knowledge of inverse operations, you know that the opposite of addition is subtraction. So if I have a missing addend in an addition number sentence, I'm going to use subtraction to find it. 15 plus what equals 26? Well, I can just say instead 26 minus 15 equals X. Well, let's go ahead and find that. What is 26 minus 15? 26 minus 15 is, I hope you found 11. So 11 is X. Our missing measurement of that last side is x, is 11 for x, right there. We use what we know to find what we don't know, okay? And we simply take our formula and we plug in the measurements that we know. Okay, let's try another one. The more we do these, the easier they will get. Okay, next page. So I have another triangle. So right now on your paper, please go ahead and draw yourself a triangle. It doesn't matter that it looks exactly like this one. And let's label in the measurements that are already on here. So we have one side that is labeled with 11 inches. Okay, the horizontal side is 20. And then the last side that we have here is missing its measurement, so it's x. This is our missing side that we have to find the length of. We are given a perimeter of 44 inches. Okay, triangle, 3 sides. All right, so if I'm setting up my formula, I always like to set up my formula first. Now I'm going to get rid of that right there. There we go. That's a little bit easier. I'm going to write out my formula first, which is going to be P for perimeter equals, all right, so length of one side plus length of another side plus the length of the last side. Now I'm going to replace, and that last side, we don't actually know what it is, right? We just know that that's the question mark. That's the x. Yep, x. All right, so let's go on in. Perimeter. Oh, we know that. So I'm going to type in that value. That perimeter is 44 inches. Okay. 44 inches, I-N. Oh, there we go, I-N. 44 inches is, okay, made up of, all right, one of our measurements, 11 inches plus 20 inches. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, plus then your last would be x, because we actually don't know the measurement. That's what we are finding, plus x. That's your question mark. Write this down, and let's go ahead and do some combining. So our perimeter stays the same. 44 inches equals. Now we're going to combine these first two values that I have here, 11 inches plus 20 inches. 11 plus 20 is going to give you 31, very good, plus x. Now, if this throws you off by having the perimeter coming first, followed by the equal sign, you know, you can always flip this around and say, okay, 31 inches plus x equals a perimeter of 44 inches. Now we really just have an addition equation. Okay, and we want to find what x is. 31 plus what equals 44? Well, let's write it now as a subtraction problem. 44 minus 31 equals, what does that give us? That equals a measurement of 13 inches. Thus, x equals 13 inches. Our missing side measurement is 13 inches. You notice how I keep on saying that unit over and over again, inches? You gotta keep in mind, perimeter is a measurement, okay? And measurements have to be labeled because depending upon what unit you have on there really determines, you know, how big, how small, you know, an inch versus a centimeter versus a mile versus whatever it happens to be. Okay, so these units are really, really important. Let's continue on. We're going to deal now with some quadrilaterals, and this is what you are mostly going to be using. All right, quadrilaterals, shapes that have 4 sides, and in this case, we're going to use rectangles. Okay, so on your paper, draw yourself a rectangle. I want you to get into the habit of doing this. Draw a rectangle. And this time, look at the example that we have here. All right, we have 2 sides that are labeled. We have 2 sides that have that x variable. and we have our perimeter. Let's break this down. Now, before we do any solving, there are a couple things that we need to remember. First thing that we need to remember is our formula. All right, if we have a rectangle, our perimeter is equal to the sum of length plus width plus length plus width. Okay, and some of you might remember from my last video that I said you could also think of it as length plus width doubled, or length plus width times 2, or length times 2 plus width times 2. Okay, but I'll just leave it like this for the moment, our formula. And I also need to recall the properties of a rectangle. All right, so looking at our rectangle, keep in mind that the opposite sides on your rectangle, opposite sides are going to have the same measurement. So top and bottom, by definition, a rectangle's opposite sides have to be the same measurement. 6 centimeters, there it is, 6 centimeters. So then we go to our left and right sides, and again, by definition, a rectangle's opposite sides are going to be the same measurement. Notice how they both have X. That X tells me that they're going to be, each side is going to be exactly the same. Now, I also showed you how frequently you will have little tick marks, okay, that go ahead and label those sides as well. So instead of just having the numbers, you might also see, okay, a little tick mark here, and then a matching one opposite, and then on these left and right sides to show that these two are the same, I might put 2 little tick marks there, okay? This is important because it is going to help us. Remember, I said use what you know to find what you don't know. So all this information is going to help us to solve these problems. So I'm going to go back into my formula and I'm going to start to fill in some of these values. Now, I know that the P for perimeter, I know that the perimeter of this particular rectangle is 20 cms. That would be centimeters. Oh, I better make this smaller to fit everything. 20 centimeters. All right. Then, whoa, that is very small. Let's go a little bit bigger here. The next thing I'm going to plug in, I have measurements for my lengths, and those lengths are 6 centimeters each. Okay, so 20 centimeters equals, okay, that L is 6 centimeters plus, all right, the width, W, I don't know. That's my X plus X plus, okay, another 6 centimeters. That's my other length plus X. 20 centimeters equals 6 plus X plus 6 plus X. I'm going to do a little rearranging. I know that I can add these up in any order that I want. So 20 centimeters equals, let's do 6. Now I'm going to put the 2 6s side by side. 6 centimeters plus 6 centimeters plus X plus X. There we go. All right, let's add 6 plus 6. Notice each time I go through this formula, I'm starting to combine amounts. Now, 20 centimeters, we can say equals, okay, 6 plus 6 is 12 centimeters plus X plus X. All right, now, here's the tricky thing I want you to notice. I'm going to grab my little pen here. All right, so this is what we did, 6 plus 6, okay, and that gave us the 12. And then we have the X plus X. Now, I'm just going to put little parentheses around the X plus X. We will deal with those X's in a moment, all right? But before I find what each of those X's are, okay, I need to figure out what they are, what this entire box of missing amount would be. That sounds like a weird thing to say. But just imagine if this X plus X, imagine if it was one complete value, okay, XX. 12 plus plus what equals 20? That's what I want you to look for. 12 plus what is going to equal 20? Okay? Well, 20, if I flip it around and use the inverse, 20 minus 12 equals, and remember, we're using subtraction because if we have a missing addend in addition, we use that inverse operation. 20 minus 12 equals 8, right? That 8 is the amount that we are giving. I'm going to grab a green pen here. This amount here, whoops, come back, pen. This amount here is what is actually now going to be used for these x's. Think about it like this. 12 plus 8 equals 20. I think you would agree that that is an accurate statement. But we have two x's there, right? Because on your rectangle, you have two sides. And they're both the same letter because they are exactly the same. So now, I know it's a lot of steps, but we're almost done here. Now, I've got to split that 8 centimeters. It's centimeters. We have to remember that. That 8 centimeters needs to be split between the two x's. X plus x equals 8. All right? So if I split 8 into 2 equal parts, I split it equally, or I divided it by 2, what would I get? 8 divided by 2, 8 split in half, right, would be 4. 8 divided by 2 equals 4. Thus, 4, I'm going to go right over here. 4 plus 4 is going to equal that 8, right? So, x equals 4. If you don't believe me, let's go ahead and label this 4 here and this 4 here. Okay, let's check the perimeter. We know it's supposed to be 20. 6 plus 4, 10. Plus another 6, 16. Plus another 4 is 20. How you doing? Hanging in there? Let's try another one. Draw yourself another rectangle. Okay, same type of problem, except for this time, notice the difference here is that we actually have the widths labeled instead of the lengths. Okay, we think of the lengths as being the top and the bottom, the widths as being the two sides. All right, so we have 15 and 15 on my two far sides, right there. Okay, and I am missing the top and bottom sides. I'm missing those x's. I do have a perimeter right here of 114 feet. All right, what am I going to start with? What do I need to do first? If you said that the first thing that I need to do is write out my formula, you would be correct. I need to keep in mind that formula. P equals length plus width plus length plus width. Step number 2, I'm going to replace those letters with the values that I know. I know that perimeter is 114 feet. Is made up of, remember, equal sign is the word is, 114 is made up of. Okay, the lengths, oh, I don't know the lengths. Those are my x's this time. Plus, okay, the width, 15 feet. Plus other length, x, plus my other width, 15 feet. All right, so I'm using what I know. I'm replacing those letters in the formula and using what I know now to help me find what I don't know. I'm going to rearrange my number sentence here. I'm going to make sure that my two values that I have, the 15 and the 15, are side by side. So I'm going to rewrite this again. 114 feet equals, okay, let's go ahead and put 15 feet plus 15 feet. Then my x's plus x, my missing values. All right, I'm gonna pause here for a moment. Think to yourself, what would you do next if you were solving this? Which I hope you're solving it right along with me. What would you do? I hope you're saying to yourself, well, I would go ahead and grab these two, the 15 and the 15, and I'll go ahead and combine them. And I'm going to kind of grab the two x's and I'm going to put them in parentheses here too. I know they're going to go together. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue on with this. So 114, now I'm going to rewrite this again, lots of rewriting, but if you keep your work organized, it will make your problem solving much easier. 114 equals 15 plus 15. 15 doubled is 30. Plus, all right, and then we have that x plus x. I'll put it in parentheses. X plus, oh, whoops, x. There we go. Consider those two x's together. It's like x times 2. Okay, those are my two widths that are there. So 30 plus what equals 114? That's my next step. Let's do some subtraction to find that missing value. So I'm going to use subtraction to help find what I'm missing in addition. 114 feet minus 30 feet equals, all right, do the work yourself, please. Stack it up. I'll do it down here. I'll even do it right along with you. 114 minus 30. Okay. There we go. 4 minus 3. 4 minus 0 equals 4. Okay. Let's go ahead. 11 minus 3 is going to be 8. Okay. 84. Ta-da! Am I done? I'm actually not done. Why am I not done? I'm not done because that 84, well, that 84 is the value for both of these x's. So that means I need to take that 84 and I've got to split it evenly between each of these two x's. I cannot just say this one x gets 84. That doesn't make any sense. I have to split it between the two sides, the top and the bottom. All right, so let's get rid of this. So I've got to, if I'm going to split it evenly, that means my best bet is going to be to do some dividing. So I'm going to think of this as, okay, 84 divided by 2, that's going to get me to my single x. Okay, 84 divided by 2 equals x. Go off to the side. You're going to do a little bit of division work. Okay. 84 divided by 2. If I split 84 into 2 equal groups, I am going to get, okay, x equals 42. 42 what's? 42 feet. Okay, x equals 42 feet. So we can go back in now, and we can label this 42. We can label this 42. Oh my goodness, I forgot something important. Feet and feet again. Okay. There we go. The last step would be to go through and just re-add these up, those 4 sides up. Do they equal 114? If they do, you have done an amazing job. All right, 2 more problems that we're going to solve, and then you're going to be on your own to do your exit ticket. Let's take a look at the next slide. So we have, this time we're being given, look at that figure. That figure has no numbers on it. don't worry, we're going to use the knowledge that we have. We're going to use what we know to find what we don't know. So read the prompt here. It says, this regular pentagon, ooh, that word regular is important. I wonder if you can remember from the last video what it means. This regular pentagon has a perimeter of 25 inches. Oh, so we know the perimeter. We're given the perimeter. Awesome. I'm going to circle that. Perimeter of 25 inches. That was messy. Sorry, guys. What is the length of one side? So that X is just one side. Now, I hope you remembered from my last video that if you have a regular polygon, that word regular just means all sides are the same. Okay, so if I'm looking at this pentagon, pentagon has 5 sides. Okay, if I'm looking at this pentagon, each of these 5 sides, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, they are all going to be exactly the same. Okay, so 5 sides, let me get my text tool here. If I have 5 sides, that means that perimeter would equal, okay, let's, there's the second addend, a third side, plus a fourth side, plus a fifth side. There we go. That's really what you're doing, right? And we know that all of them are exactly the same. So x plus x plus x plus x plus x. So I've got my perimeter is 25. 25 equals x plus x plus x plus x plus x. Really, that's like x times, how many times? 5 times, right? I don't like all that repeated addition. Really, I'm taking x 5 times. 25 equals x times 5. What times 5 equals 25? So now we kind of think of it as you either use your multiplication fact knowledge or use your division knowledge. So 25, I can think inverse, I can think division. 25 divided by 5 equals, if you said 5, you're the winner, equals 5. 5 what's? 5 inches. So I can go back into my pentagon. I can label each of these sides with a 5. And if you want to go ahead and prove your answer by adding them all up, 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 5 is 15, plus another 5 is 20, plus the last 5 is 25. Okay, that's not so bad. So, you know, here's the tip. If you have a regular polygon, it actually almost makes your work a little bit easier, I think, because all you have to do is use your knowledge of your multiplication and division facts to be able to figure this out if the numbers are small enough. All right, let's try one last problem together. I hope you're getting the hang of this, my friends. Last problem. So this time, this square has a perimeter of 40 centimeters. What is the length of one side? Now, what do you know? Look at this square. Nothing is labeled on it, but that's okay. All right, things that we know, don't panic. Things that we know that there is a perimeter of 40 centimeters. We know that. We know that P equals 40 cm. We know that it is a square. Why is that important? Well, what do you know about squares? You should know that a square is made up of 4 sides that are all exactly the same length. Okay, that's what makes the square. So if these are all exactly the same length, okay, let's use that x variable. Okay, so this is x, and this is also going to be the same exact one, and same here, and same here. Okay, so let's go to our formula because we want to use a formula and plug in what we know to find what we don't know. Okay, so the formula to find the perimeter of this square would be, okay, we could think of it as length plus length plus length plus length plus length, or I could think of it as length times 4, because they're all going to be exactly the same. This is specifically for square, mind you. Okay? Values that we know. We know that the perimeter is 40 centimeters. Oops, 40 centimeters equals, okay, I don't know what the length is, but we're calling it x. X times, that doesn't look very good. That doesn't work properly there. Okay, well, x times 4. So, what times 4 equals 40? Okay, 4 times what? Okay, let's flip that around and I'll replace that variable x with a question mark. 4 times what equals 40 centimeters? This is what we're finding. Okay, 40 divided by 4 equals, our question mark should equal 10 centimeters. 4 times 10 equals 40. So thus, as a result, each of these sides is 10 centimeters, right? We know that they have to total 40. 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 is going to equal 40. All right, my friends, nice job. Thanks for keeping up with me. I hope now that you feel prepared to complete your exit ticket for this skill. Good luck. Make sure you have pencil and paper ready to go to help you solve those problems. And if you're still struggling, please join us for some help desk office hours. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye.